Hi Yahoo Queer Voices, it's Munroe Bergdorf. Love and Rage is available to rent and own now. The experience of filming Love and Rage over the past 4 or 5 years was pretty confronting. I think when you revisit your life in a chronological fashion, you realize how everything is interlinked, how everything leads on from the previous thing, and you understand how you've become the person that you have through conflict, through loss, through gain, through celebrations, through losses, through all of the amazing and difficult parts of your life. So reliving that was a lot, but also really a moment of pride, I feel. We talk about pride a lot, and I think in this process, I really have felt really proud of myself and proud to be part of such a resilient community. Something that I've come to realize is that you will never really understand what people pick up on that helps them. A lot of the things that I've done in my career, people will come up to me and talk to me about them, and I was like, I didn't think anything of that at the moment that I was doing it. I just thought, that this is just, another day, but to another person, it will be a really significant moment that helps them realize how they feel about something or helps them understand themselves better. So I think it's just opening conversations that's been the most worthwhile part of my career, and talking about things that maybe people feel that they shouldn't talk about, or that they're scared to talk about, or that aren't being talked about enough. Because I just think until a conversation is opened, it isn't had. There's so many things that are happening in this world that are happening because for so long we have been scared to talk about them. And that goes for foreign policy, that goes for LGBT rights, it goes for race rights, it goes for feminism, it goes for all of these things that have a global impact. But if we don't talk and if we don't find a way to communicate on a human level, then no change ever happens. In order to reach the vision for the future that we all want, which is progress, I think that we all need to understand that progress isn't linear, and that it isn't always going to be a smooth curve upwards. It's going to be a process of 2 steps forwards, 4 steps back sometimes, and then a big surge forward and then a little step back. But it's going to be a jagged formation in every which way. And I think the main key element of progress is that we can't lose faith, that we all need to bear in mind that we are essentially doing this work for future generations. We're not going to see all of the change that we're working for, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. We are standing on a lot of the work that our ancestors have done, and they didn't see the lives that we get to live now. So really, a lot of it is about faith, it's about strategy, and also I think it's, passing on a legacy to a future generation so that they can live the life that we want to see in the world that we want to see. TV shows that help me understand my identity, probably Queer as Folk, but I hadn't really seen the queer community up until that point. It really focused around 3 gay men, but it was the first time that I saw the queer community, them going out to queer bars, drag queens on stage, trans women, really understanding that there isn't just one way to be queer, and that there's a whole community out there for me when I'm old enough and when I feel like, it's never too soon to find community, but I wanted to be in bars. So for me, that was a world that I was stepping into. I was a teenager and I wanted to, move to the city. So that was the community that was waiting for me, and I found it when I moved to Brighton. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a big moment for me as well, with the Willow and Tara storyline. Just really helped me to understand that there's no one way to love somebody, and that it isn't about how other people feel about who you love, it's about how you feel and trusting that process. But yeah, I feel like storytelling is the key to everything. It's envisioning something different. It's completely possible to be what you cannot see. We do it all the time, but it's so much easier to get onto that track when you have a blueprint. I often find my career very difficult to navigate because I'm often the first trans person to do certain things. And that isn't something that I particularly enjoy, because I would like to look to a woman that I can see myself in to be like, how did she handle that? What is the right way to do this? Maybe I can go to her for some advice on what not to do, but that isn't often the case. It is a privilege though, because there will be people that come after me and I can give them that advice. So yeah, I think storytelling is really how we get somewhere. A lot of the old generation of trans women who really paved the way in the 80s, 90s and 70s, and stood up to the press at a time when it was just commonplace to see trans women be outed, character assassinated, and really treated like they were tabloid fodder, people who didn't have feelings or love in their life or anyone who loved them. Seeing what Caroline Cossey went through, how the British press attacked her, they basically tore her to shreds. And I see a lot of how she was treated and how I was treated. She was treated so much worse. But this idea of just dehumanizing women and harassing them, which isn't unique to trans women's experiences. It's a shared experience with many women in the public eye, but this idea that women are somehow just free game to tear apart is heartbreaking. And that seems to be a common theme with trans women in the public eye, that you get a bit of success and then it often puts a target on your back. So yeah, Caroline Cossey, we owe so much to. My advice to young queer people, young trans people, young non-binary people is focus on what you want for your life. There's so much noise, and it can very easily make you feel like you are the sum of your sexuality or your gender identity, that is who you are, that's all that you are. And we are so much more. Your sexuality and your gender identity are one part of who you are, but it's so important that you focus on who you are and what you want for yourself. And don't let all of this noise minimize you to feel like you can't do what you want to do because people see trans people or queer people in a certain way. It doesn't matter how people see queer people. It doesn't matter how people see trans people. What matters is what you think of yourself and what you want for yourself, and go for it. Be relentless with it, achieve it, and you can do it.